Gwen Kaminski, and Gwen is the Director of Development and Programs here at the Laurel Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia. And what an amazing history this place has. Gwen, there are many Civil War participants who are buried here. Tell us about one or two of the people who lived during that time who are buried in this very cemetery.
Absolutely. Laurel Hill is the final resting place of over 40 Civil War era generals alone, and that doesn't include the many other military figures and civilians who participated in the war that also rest here. Perhaps two of our most famous or infamous, depending on what side of the Mason-Dixon line you're on, war participants were Union General George Gordon Meade and Confederate General John C. Pemberton. Interestingly, Meade had what was perhaps the most successful day of his military career when he defeated General Robert E. Lee at Gettysburg, leading the troops there to Union victory. On that same day, Pemberton suffered his worst defeat when he surrendered the city of Vicksburg, Mississippi, to General Grant. Interestingly, Meade is buried in the north section of the cemetery and Pemberton in the south.
That is fascinating. You know, when you think of a cemetery, you don't necessarily think of it as a place where you would have cultural and educational programs, and yet that's exactly what you do here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Laurel Hill is home to over 75,000 permanent residents now. Many of them historic notables, others just ordinary folk, but each of them has a unique story. And it is those stories that have been the heart of the Friends of Laurel Hill Cemetery's programming. Because of those stories, we're able to offer topics as diverse as art and architecture, horticulture, women's history, African American history, scientists, inventors, the list goes on and on.
So with that in mind, Gwen, why is it important to partner with the Pennsylvania Humanities Council for a program like Humanities on the Road?
Perhaps more so than any other population, those of us in the nonprofit, arts and cultural sector really rely upon partnerships and collaborations to fulfill our mission. Like the Pennsylvania Humanities Council, Laurel Hill Cemetery also bears a commitment to learning to our community.
Well, thank you so much, Gwen, for hosting us here. The name of the program is Lincoln and the Widow Bixby. We'll be talking about ordinary people and how they lived during the Civil War period. Certainly hope you can join us for it. I'm Tracy Matisak. See you next time.